Today we're going to look at the Power 9 of the worst Magic the Gathering cards. This is like almost like an inverted Power 9 if you ask me. It's like a D-Power 9. We got Palpatine out because we're going to go over all the cards that we can get, and then we're going to vote to see which are the, I guess, top of the worst of these worst Magic the Gathering cards. I'm going to start off with Dark Steel Relic. It is a 0-mana artifact. Dark Steel Relic is indestructible, but at the same time, it does absolutely nothing. I don't know, it might contribute, like, to one of your storm without really triggering it. I guess it can trigger Dragon Rage Chandler. If you try hard enough, this might become something, but as far as I'm concerned, nobody plays this damn thing. Maybe the foils are worth something. You can basically trade it like some sort of very highly speculative material deep into the future. So we're writing down the Dark Steel Relic. All right, next up, we're gonna go with Steve Cooper's not Bonjour. One with Nothing. Also Bonjour to Steve Cooper. One with Nothing. This is a card a lot of people have highly anticipated is going to become something one day. Something. But today is nothing. It's a as it says on the card. Black instant, discard your hand. Instant speed. You can have no cards left into your hand. When nothing remains, everything is equally possible. Alright, you discard your hand. All you have to do is blow up your entire battlefield, and the cheese stands alone wins. So we're gonna put one with nothing, definitely. One with nothing on the list. Alright, we need more cards. We need more candidates. Steven says Prism Array is so bad. Prism Array is a blue 4 generic enchantment with Converge. Enters the battlefield with a crystal counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. So we were playing a Wooburg deck. We can have 5 mana on this thing. Remove a crystal from Prism Array to tap target creature. We also have Wooburg to scry 3. All this work. But yeah, I like this tap creature thing. I don't know if I would spend 5 mana on it. But alright, we're gonna put it to the test with everything else. Prism Array. Alright, next up, who else are we going to put on this list? Benjamin with the Razor Boomerang. One of the worst, possibly the worst equipment ever. 3 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature has tap unattached Razor Boomerang. Razor Boomerang deals a singular point of damage to target creature or player. At least they can hit players. You never know when your opponent's at 1 life. Return Razor Boomerang to its owner's hand. Oh my god. This is effectively 5 mana. Remove the attack from our creature to deal a singular point of damage. I'm sure like Stoneforge Mystic wasn't looking to go get this thing back in World Wake. Yeah, absolutely. The Razor Boomerang. Alright, next up. Tabashel for Scornful Egotist. As it's pretty useless. So we have an 8 mana 1/1. Now the funny thing about this card is that it is better off played for its alternate ability. So that's actually what we should be judging it for. How bad is a 3 mana 2/2 that we morphed? Yeah, that's about it. So 3 mana 2/2. Unless like the high CMC has any value to anything else in your deck, I doubt it. Yeah, this is the unpowered Power 9. The unpowered 9. Scornful Egotist. I'm going to separate these to make sure that we have nice blocks of 4 to vote on them later. Remember, you're going to vote on them later. Oh, I like this one. Hedron Alignment. Very hard to use in Commander. Downright almost impossible. Is it impossible? I think it's impossible. Blue 2 generic enchantment, hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal your hand. If you do, you win the game if you own a card named Hedron Alignment in exile, in your hand, in your graveyard, and on the battlefield. Just a question, if we exile cards from somebody else's deck, is it in their exile zone or our exile zone? Or do we all share the same exile zone? I'm just wondering. Like, exile the top 3 cards of your opponent's library. We would literally need to be playing against another Hedron Alignment deck. Exile the top card of their deck. And then win with this thing. Make a copy of this. Bounce it back to our house. No, but there still needs to be one in the graveyard. This is, like, impossible. Just absolutely. And it's their exile. Just downright absolutely impossible to make this card work. Hedron alignment. All right, what else? It's a singular L. Let's not be making spelling mistakes later on in the show. Hedron doesn't care about control, but own. Yeah. All right. Christopher B with cut the tethers. Christopher B goes deep. Christopher B, as far as I know, knows the entire pool of Magic the Gathering cards. Probably started playing in 93. Okay, we got cut the tethers, blue, blue 2, generic sorcery. For each spirit, return it to its owner's hand unless that player pays 3. It's a very weird sideboard card. Not only that, really hard to pull off, even at 4 mana. You might be dead to the spirits by the time you actually play this thing. Not to mention, they can also pay, they can pay the 3. What if they pay the 3? Cut the tethers. All right, next up, we've got our first super chat of the day from the dangerous one. Pale Moon, the Black Lotus of bad cards. Pale Moon is a blue 1 generic instant. Until end of turn, if a player taps a non-basic land for mana, it produces colorless mana instead of its normal type. Hey, I mean, against a 4-color control deck. Oh, it doesn't draw a card. I always thought this card drew a card. No, it is pretty bad. Basically spending... Your opponent really needs to be playing a super multicolored deck. You play this at their upkeep, and you like basically dump them a turn, but then you lost a card for the turn. Pale Moon. All right, Pale Moon is on. Oops, Pale Moon. Okay, we got a few people. Sheelan, David with a Break Open. Break Open. This bad tier, like not even tier list. Break Open, red 1 generic instant. Oh yeah, turn target face down creature an opponent controls face up. Turn target face down. Why would I want to do? Doesn't that help them, by the way? It's like, oh, I wonder what this 2/2 is. Oh wow, oh wow. It's I don't know, some 5/5 trampler. There's like a bunch of them in Cons of Tarkir. You never did, like in Cons of Tarkir, you don't want to turn anything face up. They'll have like Megamorph or something. But the point being, it's usually a bigger creature than a 2/2. Although I don't know if they would get their like face up trigger, turn thing face up trigger. Okay, Break Open. Definitely a terrible card. The only thing you're gonna break open is your own skull if you play this thing. Next super chat we got from John. Thanks so much. We got the Recycle. Oh yeah, this is literally Recycle. Gotta go green for 6 mana enchantment. Skip your draw step. Well, that's not good. Whenever you play a card, draw a card. That's great. Your maximum hand size is 2. That's awkward. Is this really that bad? Skip your draw step when you play oh, you could get locked out of the game so hard. You have 2 lands in your hand, you're screwed. Whenever you play a card, you draw a card, but you have to keep playing cards or you could be dead. I still don't think it's that bad, but we will put it to everybody else's test. The coffee crew will know. Okay, we got both Beanpot and Benjamin on Juju Bubble. Seems like a lot of you are on the same page here. Is it Bubble or Bobble? No, it's Bubble. Don't you slander Recycle. Sounds like somebody's playing Recycle. Juju Bubble, commutative upkeep of 1. If you play a card, bury the Juju Bubble. But you get paid 2 mana to gain 1 life. So the idea is there is some use to this. If you have infinite mana, you basically have infinite life because you can pay the commutative upkeep infinite times and gain as much life as you want. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about that. If you do not have an infinite life mechanism, and by the way, you do have to play something at some point, right? And at that point you lose it, and then you don't technically have infinite life anymore. You gotta stop somewhere. Then infinite damage beats your eventually finite life. So we put the Juju Bubble on top. The Juju Bubble. Don't pop them bubble. That's a bubble that could pop at any second. We got Algot with one with death. Is that the playtest card? Does not count. Disqualified. There's other shows that I will allow these cards on here, but this is not an official Magic the Gathering card. It is not going to be on the Unpowered 9. 1 black instant, you lose the game. I shall donate this one to David. Paliano, the High City. Is this is a draft card, right? Paliano, the High City. Has something to do with drafting. Reveal Paliano, the High City as you draft it. The player to your right chooses a color. You choose another color. Then the player to your left chooses a third color. Tap, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color chosen as you drafted cards named Paliano, the High City. So it's basically dead. I mean, it's a legendary land, and it adds no mana, as far as I'm concerned. Because in a regular game, you're never going to ever... You're never going to have the opportunity. Is there, like, a clause? 3 colors must be chosen if you control Piano and you didn't draft. Yeah, I was just wondering, like in Commander, can you just have everyone at the table as it enters the battlefield choose a color? No. No. You have to draft it, baby. You don't draft it, you don't get anything. Paliano to the High City. Okay, next up. Okay, I'm Jarud, says Wood Elemental. The Wood Elemental. You better get them forests ready because you're going to sacrifice them. Green 3 generic star. As it enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of untapped forests. That's right, you can't use them before you sacrifice them. Wood Elemental's power and toughness are each equal to the number of forest sacrifices as they enter the battlefield. Hey, you gotta do something with all that mana that you scape-shifted on the battlefield. You use it for your Wood Elemental. Does anyone realistically play this card? It's also part of the reserve list, which is such a joke. Wood Elemental. I guess we have to play at the time. This plus balance at the time? Maybe it wasn't that bad. It's almost like a lock or something. We got Schizoritz with the Dragon Appeasement. Dragon Appeasement is Jund 3 generic enchantment. Skip your draw step. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you may draw a card. This card looks insane. How could this be a bad card? At the same time, it's like 17 cents. It's also very expensive. So we skip our draw step. It's the necropotence of sacking creatures. But if you can't sacrifice creatures anymore, the gravy train ends. And so is the rest of your chances of winning this duel. Dragon Appeasement. I just look at this type of card, I'm like, it has potential, you know? But I guess you could say the same thing with One with Nothing, and yet it's never met its potential. Oh, we did One with Nothing, Zelvin. It's on the list, you see? Oh, you can't see it. It was one of the first ones. One with Nothing. It's at the top here. We got Big Pogger, the OG Terrible, the Leviathan. Oh, I cannot agree more. The OG Leviathan. The big gaping mouth. It eats itself as far as I'm concerned. Blue, 5 generic for the 10/10 Trampler. Comes into play, it comes into play tapped too, and doesn't untap during your untap step. Why? At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice 2 islands. If you do, untap Leviathan. Leviathan can't attack unless you sacrifice 2 islands. I swear, so when I first started playing this game, there was this like big box of bulk blue cards I was looking through to make my first deck. And even I, as a complete moron, noob Magic the Gathering player, saw Leviathan and saw how bad it was. I'm like, how is this ever going to do anything? And I'm like thinking, scratching my head, when am I even going to ever get 9 mana? That's impossible. And it still is impossible. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Pacers Fan Forever with the Carevex Spite. Carevex Spite. It is black, instant. Sacrifice all perms. Discard your hand. Target player loses 5 life. How many times are we going to do this? How many times do we want to, like, sacrifice all our permanents? Could be a combo card. It's like $3.60. Could be a combo card with, I can't remember the real Cheese Standalone card. So let's call this is Carevex Spite. What is what I'm thinking of? It's not the Cheese Stands Alone. It's the other one. Everyone's like on the same page here. It's like Carevex Spite. Juju Bubble. Okay, next up. We've got Evan with the Apocalypse Chime. These are all the regulars. And these are all the terrible the cards that end up on like the shows of the most terrible cards in Magic the Gathering. It is like a war for the most terrible. 2 mana artifact, pay 2, tap, sacrifice Apocalypse Chime to bury all cards from the Homelands expansion. Wasn't there a set called Apocalypse? Apocalypse Chime should actually be errated to destroy everything from Apocalypse, since it's the Apocalypse Chime. Alright, so, I should put this, it should be a little bit lower so I can read this thing. Apocalypse Chime. Next up, King Ginger's Pocket Sand. But the real card is the Blinding Powder. I think this might be a new one. Blinding Powder, not power. The Blinding Powder! 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature has unattached Blinding Powder. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to this creature this turn. Just 1 creature. So we just protect. Yeah, Pocket Sand. Psh. Don't touch this creature. I think this is the first time I've been aware of Blinding Powder. All right, next up. Let's take from. Hey, Poleman! Carplusen Giant. This is a red 6 generic 3/3 giant. Tap and untap snow land you control. Carplusen Giant gets a +1/+1 until end of turn. So all we have to do is tap and untap snow land. Actually, if you can get this thing out for this much mana, I mean that's basically if they're all snow lands, you can buff it up by 7. You could die very quickly out of nowhere from the Carplusen Giant. Carplusen Giant. Next from Donation World, Deep Water. Mock Sapphire of bad cards. Okay, blue, enchantment. Blue. All mana producing lands you control provide blue instead of their normal mana until end of turn. What the hell is this for? I had double blue just to cast this card, and I have to spend blue to make everything else add blue? This is the most backwards, absolute backwards mana fixer I'd ever heard of. On top of that, it's like I'm playing a blue deck that's splashing a color, but I need more mana consistency. I also need enough mana consistency to cast Deep Water in the first place. I guess it's to cast all those, I don't know, 5 mana cards that are all like blue, 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 blue. Or to some extent. Deep Water. But it has trample. Oh, you mean the, did it? It did not. It did not have trample. Carplusen Giant is trampleless. Okay, next, we'll go with Verginka, the Blind Creeper, my favorite. Is this like a Minecraft reference? We have a black 1 generic 3/3 zombie beast. Whenever a player plays a spell, Blind Creeper gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Ah, yes! Basically, this card will self-destruct in 3, 2, and 1. Based on how many spells you've played this ever. Blind Creeper. It lives to die, effectively. Okay, next up we got John with the Munga Worm. I don't know what the Munga Worm is, but we'll find out in a minute. Munga Worm! 4 mana for a 6/5 worm. You can't untap more than 1 land during your untap step. Basically, self-made Winter Orb. And frankly, honestly, this card isn't even that big for even by today's standards. 4 mana for a 5 toughness, at least 5 power creature? Get out of here. Munga Worm. We got the Monotropic Guitarist with the Alabaster. Ooh, the Alabaster Leech. Get out there early with a 1 mana 1/3. But there is a catch. White spells you play cost a white more to play. Effectively, Yeah, you're basically taxing yourself for no reason. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, this is fine if this would be the only white card in your deck, but, well, first off, it's not even fine. 1 mana 1/3 sucks. But let's say it is a white, let's say it is the only white card in your deck. You need like 14 to 15 white sources to even play this thing on turn 1 for a 60 card deck. For Commander, I don't know. It's probably like 20 or 30 or something like that. Yeah, Alabaster Leech is quite an abomination. Donate the Munga Worm to an opponent. A lot of these things could be like, donate this card to the opponent. Just play in a deck that focuses in other colors and it's a 1 mana 1/3 with no downside. Sure, if I open contest for anyone that can make Alabaster Leech sort of look like a good card. Toads with the Great Wall. Because Planeswalk is a thing. Oh, is it? White 2 generic enchantment. Creatures with Planeswalk may be blocked as if they did not have this ability. Quick! You all have 10 seconds. Name me a creature with Planeswalk. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No one could do it. I don't care. Leg doesn't count. Great Wall's terrible. I can't think off the top of my head. I know Mountain Walk, Island Walk, Swamp Walk, Forest Walk. I don't know any Planeswalk cards. It's a Ketchup's like, Planeswalkers? It's a Planeswalker. Zodiac Rooster? Is that one? Zodiac Rooster? Is that like the most famous? I guess it's the most famous of all the Planeswalking cards. That card's pretty terrible by itself. Okay, Great Wall has been added to our Power 9 candidates. Okay, next super chat from Henrik. The Lord of Tressorhorn. Lord of Tressorhorn is a 4 mana commander. It's a zombie. It's a 10/4. If you want to play Grixis zombies, boom. Lord of Tressorhorn's got you covered. 10/4. When Lord of Tressorhorn comes into play, you lose 2 life and sacrifice 2 creatures. An opponent draws 2 cards. It's like, how can I punish myself and help someone else as much as possible? I'm sacrificing my creatures to donate you cards. But here's the upside, everyone. We get to regenerate this guy for a single black. That's a deal. After I lost everything else. Okay, Lord of Tressorhorn. Dio Brando, Bogart Artisan. Or sorry, Arsonist. Is it Arsonist? Bogart Arsonist. Red 2 generic 2/1 Goblin Rogue with Planeswalk. Are you saying this is a bad card, or is this one of your Planeswalk cards? Could be Dio Brando could be like on a 3-minute delay. 3 mana, sacrifice it, destroy target Scarecrow or a Plains. I don't know if this was in response to the Planeswalk thing, but this card seems pretty bad in its own right. Bogart Arsonists. It's got Planeswalk for 3 mana. It's gonna get in the red zone there. Buzz is like, I won Commander with Lord once. I could, like, hey, going back to the Lord, I could see it happen. I could see you, like, helping someone else so much that they become a threat, and then everyone tries to beat them, and then lose all their resources, and then, like, I don't know, there's a big war. The threat died, but then the last 2 people are really weak, and you can just clean up the pickings. You just clean it up. Pacers fan forever with the Obelisk of Undoing. Obelisk of Undoing is a 1 mana artifact. Pay 6 tap. Return target permanent you own and control back to your hand. You know, you can do that in response to removal, a board wipe. Of course, you're not really going... It'd make more sense if I could return this as well. Guess that's not happening now, is it, Obelisk? But it does exactly what it said it would do. It would undo what has been done. Completely undo. Oh, this is a great one from Kobe. The Force of Savagery. Just difficult to get it to stay on the battlefield. Very difficult. I remember there was like I made a post on Twitter about like how Orcish Bowmasters is an abomination to the game. Just kills off every like 1 toughness creature and has rendered them all unplayable. And then there were other people arguing, well, 1 toughness is like the lowest toughness in the game possible. So like, what are you complaining about? And then someone else responded, ahem, force of savagery. Even lower on toughness? I mean, it just dies instantly. Not even sure what you gotta play. I guess you have to play like a Master of Waves and buff up your elementals before you play this thing. At some point, we gotta get to the voting stage. We'll get to the vote in the second half. Don't worry. There's plenty of time in the second half. Force of Savagery. A greatly terrible card. Needs an anthem to sort of be... Yeah, it's like to kind of be playable. You can still chump block it. I mean, you'll still get hoofed in the face for a ton of damage, but I mean, it will die. We go down together around here. King Ginger with the Arctic Wolves. Arctic Wolves. Green, 3 generic for a 4/5 wolf. Cumulative upkeep 2. When Arctic Wolves comes into play, draw a card. You're basically spending 5 mana to draw 1 card. And maybe keep this around for a turn. Alright, we'll have Arctic Wolves. Pretty bananas bad card to have around here. Crowcore Games with the Statecraft. Fight me, it's garbage outside of a donate deck. Okay, 4 mana enchantment. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to and dealt by creatures you control. I really don't even understand how this is even that big of a deal of a card. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to and dealt by creatures you control. What if you don't want to win with your creatures? Maybe it's like a wall deck. Statecraft. They're basically invincible to block. I wouldn't even want to donate this to anybody. What a waste of a donate. Okay, Gavin with the Phyrexian Colossus. Seven mana for an 8/8 Golem. Doesn't untap during your untap step. Pay 8 life. Untap Phyrexian Colossus. And also Phyrexian Colossus can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. This is like the best card, I think, on this unpowered 9, but we'll put it on here. Phyrexian. This is like the... It's not good, but it would kill you. You know? If we had a cube of the worst cards in Magic the Gathering, this probably would be the best one. Easily. They take the 8 damage before we have to pay 8 life to untap this thing. Okay, next up. Zelvin. Let's do one with nothing. We did one with nothing! Here, I'll give you proof. It's right up here. It was actually the second suggestion. Sorry about that, Zelvin. If you have another card, let me know. I'll keep an eye out for you. But until then, we're going to donate this to chat. We'll give it to Michael Ing. Voltaic Key makes it... It does make it usable. That's right. Phyrexian Colossus, not the most useless. Charizard is not bad. It's just really unfun to play with. I like this one. Illusions of Grandeur. This was part of a tier 0 deck at one time, I'll have you know, Bruce. Or sorry, Bryce. We have 4 mana enchantment, cumulative upkeep of 2. When it comes into play, you gain 20 life. That's a lot of life, you know? But the thing is, when you lose the game... Sorry, when it leaves the play, you lose 20 life. So, I mean, it's very, very temporal life gain. This is what life gain in blue looks like, people. Complete life gain in blue. Okay, we're going to look at more terrible Magic the Gathering cards. But we got to thank our sponsor today, FusionGamingOnline.com. Here, is this going to work? Oh, yeah, this works. Get your Bloomborough cards from FusionGamingOnline.com. Now hot and ready for your enjoyment. Do we have a new deal of the week this week? There's usually a new deal of the week every... Oh, there we go. 15% off all Secret Lair singles and box sets. So if you're a fan of Secret Lairs... I'm a fan of the new arts, you know, that's what, it's awkward sometimes for people on coverage to distinguish what card is what, but I like that they're giving us choice. We have so many cool new cards out from the secret lairs, and if you want some of those cards, get them singles and box sets from FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget, even when you're buying with a discount, use another discount on top of it by using coupon code Nikachu at checkout for 5% off all your purchases at checkout, and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders. There we go. It's the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Mana Traders is a place where you can rent Magic cards digitally for the online client Magic Online, where you can play Commander, you can play Pioneer, you can play Standard, Modern, all the paper formats on Magic Online. And you know what? If you love playing multiple decks, the best way to play Magic is by renting them, so you have access to the entire card pool in the game. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_25K. Alright, let's get back to Illusions of Grandeur. What do I gotta do here? Whoops, this is the wrong one. This one? This one. There we go. And we'll move along. Okay, hold on. Let's get another freebie here. Okay, we gotta start voting soon. Okay, Nate Shaw, Aladdin's Ring. Healing Salve. I got blown out by that card in Limited before. 8 mana artifact. Pay 8. Tap. Aladdin's Ring deals 4 damage to target creature or player. This is actually also one of the better cards on this list. Okay, we're gonna go with 3 more. One of them is gonna be a super chat. King Ginger, a Darkar Unicorn. Not even familiar with this card. White, 1 generic, 2/2 Unicorn. Tap to add either a blue or blue. The illusion of choice, my coffee crew. The illusion of choice. And 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. This mana is usable only for cumulative upkeep. Oh, I see. So we got a blue or blue plus colorless for cumulative upkeep. Play this ability as an interrupt. The weirdest blue ramp of all time. Okay, Darkar Unicorn. And we got Zelvin, who did a super chat. We're going to give you Thought Lace. Thought Lace is... Oh, is this the change color card? Blue. Interrupt. Change the color of target spell or target permanent to blue. We're going to turn everything into the blue man group. Cost to cast, tap, maintain, or use special ability of target remain unchanged. Completely. It's very useless. Thought Lace. I think we need to get Sorrow's Path on here. Anyone else voting for Sorrow's Path? We did Juju Bubble. Alright, let's get Sorrow's Path on here. Sorrow's Path suggested by the monotropic guitarist. This is the land. Tap. Choose 2 target blocking creatures an opponent controls. If each of those creatures could block all creatures the other is blocking, remove both of them from combat. Each one then blocks all creatures the other was blocking. Whenever Sorrow's Path becomes tapped, it deals 2 damage to you and each creature you control. Alright, Sorrow's Path gets onto the list. Alright. Alright, it's voting time! It's voting time! Okay, so I'm going to pull this to the side so that I can read it. And all you need to know is... okay, we're going to start a poll. Okay, what is negative power 9? This should be funny. Is it Aladdin's Ring? Is it a Darkar Unicorn? Is it Thought Lace? Or is it Sorrow's Path? Away you go. Remember, Sorrow's Path, the land that, you know, rearrange the creatures, basically shoot your entire board down for 2 damage. Thought Lace, change the color of target spell to blue, or permanent, by the way, to blue. Then we have the Darkar Unicorn, the mana ramp at 3 mana for blue, or you can tap out a blue and a generic for your cumulative upkeep spells. And Aladdin's Ring, 8 mana for 4 damage if you pay an additional mana, 8 mana. You had 8 mana to cast it, you'll have 8 mana to activate it. David is like, if Paliano loses, I will riot. You could ask ChatGPT which of the 9 are the worst for fun. like, I don't trust ChatGPT for those things, because ChatGPT is just going to just yoink, like, yoink this from somebody's, like, website or something, from like an old MTG Goldfish article. It will not come to its own conclusion. It's basically just copying somebody else's opinion. Yeah, ChatGPT doesn't even know what it's talking. No, I think it would understand, but it would pull it from something else. Sora's Path is considered like one of the worst cards ever made. Hey, sometimes you need to blow up the board or something. Okay. Sora's Path wins. Congratulations, Sora's Path. You are going to make it to the... you're going to go... You move on. Okay, next up, we've got... Starting with the Illusions of Grandeur. Start. Can I start a poll here? Oh, I have to end this poll. Okay, Sora's Path wins. Add start poll. Ask a question. What is negative power 9? Force of Savagery. We got Arctic Wolves. We got Statecraft. And we have the Phyrexian Colossus. Go for it, people. Illusions of Grandeur. The 4-mana enchantment. Gain 20 life. But if you don't pay the tax each turn, you're going to lose it. Then we also have Phyrexian Colossus. 7-mana, 8/8. But it doesn't. You swing, and that's it. It's got to go right to sleep. You got to pay life to untap it. And it can't be blocked by except by 3 or more creatures. Statecraft. Prevent all combat damage that be dealt to, but also dealt by your creatures. Your creatures ain't going to do nothing. And also, the Arctic Wolves for 5 mana. It's a 4/5 with cumulative upkeep of 2, so it's not going to last for very long. But you do get to draw that card. So it doesn't feel like it's completely wasting your time. Alright, what do we got here? After, how long have we had this for? So, okay, we don't have a minute yet. I give it a minute all the time. Force of Savagery does work with Pandemonium. In some sense, yes. Illusions of Grandeur not available. Oh, did I go too far? Oh, the poll is corrupt. The poll is corrupt. It's no good. Did I go too far? Alliance 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I put on by accident? Oh, the Adarkar Unicorn. Sorry about that. How did that happen? I don't know where the Adarkar Unicorn came from. Okay, what is negative power 9? We gotta do a revote. We gotta stop the count. It's corrupt. Okay, next up, we're gonna have, okay, Phyrexian Colossus, Statecraft, Arctic Wolves, and Force of Savagery. There we go. Oh, hold on, why is this? Oh, I didn't write it down. That's the problem. Where is this? It's between Phyrexian Colossus. Uh-oh. Phyrexian Colossus was supposed to be... Okay, hold on. Illusions of Grandeur. Hold on, what did terrible... Okay, Phyrexian Colossus... I'm disqualifying Phyrexian Colossus. That unfortunately was not very good. I understand. I didn't write it down on my notepad. Now I've written it down. That's the problem. Stay with me, people. Stay with me. You know, so technical difficulties, but we're figuring it out here. Start a poll. We're stuck on this one. Stop the count, Arctic Wolves. Okay, we got Illusions of Grandeur. Trying to do all these in like multiples of 4. Because I can't do it in multiples of... Does it let me have... Yeah, it stops me at 4. I can't have more than 4, unfortunately. So it's like, I got my vote in. For information, there's illusion... Yeah, I know, there's delusions of mediocrity. That gains you 10 life, loses you 10 life. I think cumulative upkeep is 1, though. Maybe it's the same. Did Arctic Wolf win? Oh, it did. Right over here. Arctic Wolf won at 100% with 1 vote. That's why it's important to vote, people. You never know when Arctic Wolf will be taking over the place. Very, very, very funny. Wolf can be a draw, and I'm in some world, yeah. Remember, our Illusions of Grandeur, Aladdin's Ring. Okay, I know I'm too far here. Illusions of Grandeur, Statecraft, Arctic Wolves. Oh, and Force of Savagery? Is that where? Yeah, this is Force of Savagery is part of this list. The 3 mana 8/0 with trample. Oh, interesting. Force of Savagery just completely takes over and is going to be the winner here. All right, Force of Savagery is going to be part of our, I don't know what to call it, semifinals or something. Okay, next up, we are doing what is the power 9 between the Obelisk of Undoing. So we got the Obelisk of Undoing. We also have the Bogart Artisans. Sorry, Arsonists. I keep thinking it's an artisan. There's so many artisans in this game. Why can't they, the Bogarts be artisans? And the Great Wall. Go for it. Now, Obelisk of Undoing, the 1 mana, pay 6, bounce something to your hand. Then we got Bogart Arsonist, 3 mana for 2/1 with Planeswalk. I think this one accidentally got onto the show. 3 mana, destroy target Scarecrow or a Plains. We also have the Lord of Tressorhorn, 4 mana, 10/4. ETB, you lose 2 life, sack 2 creatures, an opponent gets to draw 2 cards, but you can regenerate it. And then we got the Great Wall. Creatures with Planeswalk may be blocked as if they did not have this ability. You can block that chicken from the Portal set. You never know when that Portal set is going to come get you. Henrik says, I think the price for green draw years ago was Arctic Wolves, and now it has amazing draw. Oh, yeah. Green can do everything. Green is like the color of all. It's basic. It's nature. Everything comes from nature, right? Everything. Well, the poll is still going, so I'm just going to wait. Colby says, a lot of these cards have use, even if they suck. Force requires other cards to have any use at all. I mean, if you try hard enough. I mean, yeah, the Great Wall might be good if you can give all your opponent's creatures Planeswalk, or some, to some degree. The Great Wall wins! All right, congratulations, Great Wall. You move on to the, I guess, semifinals of some sort. Okay, next up, what is the negative power 9, starting with the Munga Worm? Oh, is this Alabaster Leech? How many of these have I screwed up? Okay, hold on. Alabaster Leech. Okay, okay. Apparently starting with Alabaster Leech. I'm working on this. This is one of those days I wish I had like an assistant to help me. That would help me so much. Like some sort of mod that started making all these things where I can just talk at the same time. But basically, I gotta do a song and dance while doing these polls. Come on, Palpatine, do some work for me here. Okay, we got the Alabaster Leech, the Munga Worm, the Blind Creeper, and the Deep Water. Now, Alabaster Leech, the 1 mana 1/3 that taxes all your white spells. Munga Worm, you can't untap. It's the Winter Orb for you, but you have a 6/5 creature for 4 mana. Blind Creeper, it lives to die. And also Deep Water, the blue enchantment. Pay a blue, all mana producing lands you control provide blue instead of their normal mana each turn. As if you don't have enough blue mana. I don't even know how, I don't know how you cast and activated this thing if you didn't already have the blue mana that you needed. This is like the weirdest mana fixer for them Leviathan decks, in my opinion. I think someone screwed up, says Guy alone at home. Yeah. Like a one-man show around here. Deep Waters. Flood Moons yourself. Yeah, exactly. No, you're Blind Creeper. This is a tough one. These are all really bad cards. Like, Deep Water is super terrible. Blind Creeper, also super terrible. Munga Worm? It's like, I don't want this card, but like, it's not the worst. And also Alabaster Leech, really, really bad card. So this is a close pull. And it would appear after 1 minute. Oh, Alabaster Leech wins! Congratulations to Alabaster Leech. You're just worse than Deep Water. If anyone... By the way, remember how this works. If anybody super chats, we can try to get these things back in a vote. Remember, like, if it gets voted for and it loses again, then it's just lost for forever. Okay, next up, we need to do the negative power 9 of Carplazon Giant. Let's start a poll here. Between the Carplazon Giant, Blinding Powder, the Pocket Sand card, Apocalypse Chime, and Kervex Spite. Okay, remember, Carplazon Giant. 7 mana, 3/3, can buff itself with Snowlands. Blinding Powder, 1 mana, equip for 2, and you can unattach it, prevent all combat damage dealt to this creature. You can also play Apocalypse Chime, a 2 mana, pay 2, tap, sacrifice Apocalypse Chime to bury all cards from the Homelands expansion, and also Kervex Spite, triple black, sacrifice all your permanents, discard your hand to make your opponent just lose 5 life. Is it really congratulations if they win? Yes. Sometimes you're so bad you get a reward. It's almost like that Rick Astley song, Never Gonna Give You Up. Like, you know, it was, it got famous because it was effectively a troll, right? It was a troll. It was a song people did not want to hear. And then it ended up being, like, considered, like, the most popular song for the year. And because it was a meme, and then it won an award. This could be called the Rick Astley, Never Gonna Give You Up Power 9, effectively. Okay, we got Apocalypse Chime wins! Congratulations, Apocalypse Chime. You are so narrow, you are absolutely useless. You can blow everything up from a set that is completely downright pathetic. Nobody played. There's nothing good out of that set. Never was anything good out of that set. Okay, next up. We're gonna go to the Leviathan. Ooh. This is gonna be a big one. Full of many dangerously bad cards. Oh, I didn't write down Leviathan, did I? No. What's the point of Leviathan? What's the point of the show when I don't write down the cards that are candidates? Leviathan. Then I think Dragon Appeasement. We have Dragon Appeasement next. Good. Then we've got Wood Elemental, right? We got Wood Elemental, thank God. And lastly, we got Paliano. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one. Paliano is that completely useless. This is a land that does nothing outside of cube. How often do you guys cube? Or how often do you draft Conspiracy? Probably not very often. So Paliano, as you draft it, you choose a color, and it taps to add mana of the chosen colors that your opponents chose as you drafted it, which outside of cube is worthless. Then Wood Elemental, where you gotta sacrifice all your untapped forests just to make it a reasonably powered creature. Dragon Appeasement, you skip your draw step, and you have to sacrifice creatures to draw cards anymore. If your board gets wiped, that's it, you're locked out of the game. And then Leviathan, the creature that was meant to be useless from the start. 9 mana for a 10/10 that ETB tapped, and you have to sacrifice islands just to untap the damn thing, and and you can't attack with it unless you sacrifice islands. Is it flying in the air? I always thought this thing was underwater, but you know what? This looks like some sort of lighthouse of some sort, and it's flying in the air. It's so strange. Interestingly enough, wow, Wood Elemental actually wins it. That is not the winner I thought would happen. This is, I think, one of the better cards on this list. But, okay, Wood Elemental. Apparently you're the worst. You're worse than Leviathan and Paliano at the same time. I almost don't believe it. Okay, next up. Let's take a look at... We have a negative power 9 of, oh, Juju Bubble? Okay, hold on, where's our Juju Bubble? That was disqualified. Juju Bubble. Recycle. Break open. By the way, recycle. Recycle the 6 mana. Skip your draw step. Whenever you play a card, you get to draw a card. Your maximum hand size is 2. And then break open. Turn target face down creature face up. And then the Pale Moon. Pale Moon. Until end of turn, if a player plays a non-basic land, taps a non-basic land for mana, it produces colorless mana instead of its normal color type. Yeah, I know, like, Paliano is stone cold donut. I mean, it's worse than anything possible, and I really have no idea how that lost to the Wood Elemental. I thought Wood Elemental was above and beyond stronger than all the other cards on that list. How the F is Leviathan the best card out of this 4? Yeah. It's a completely rigged election. Dogtonian, Wood Elemental's way worse than Leviathan. Leviathan is still a 10-10 with trample, but downside. Wood Elemental will get you to sack your stuff for a 2-2. No, I'll get you to sack your stuff for like a 4-4. If you had 4 mana to tap for it, you can. Oh no, wait a minute. I see what you mean. It has to be untapped forests. You might be onto something there. I never actually cast a Wood Elemental. Because to even get a 4-4, you know, like Dog Terran actually has a point, because like if you spend 9 mana, you get a 10-10 Leviathan, but if you spend 9 mana, or if you have 9 mana available with Wood Elemental, you only get a 5-5. Interesting. All right, we got Break Open wins it. Stop the count. Break Open. Congratulations. Turn target face down creature and opponent controls completely face up. Your yeah, no, you're not gonna keep your secrets. It's my secrets now. Okay, next up, we're going to do. We have a small poll. Actually, hold on. I have an what was that thing that? No, I'm not gonna go back. Okay, forget it. We have a smaller poll this time. What is the negative power 9 of? Oops, I don't want a Q&A. Ugh, just give me a poll, damn it. I want polls, YouTube. Oh, we didn't do Apocalypse Chime. Or did we do Apocalypse Chime? What was Apocalypse Chime? Did we do that one? Or, no, that was Juju Bubble. Oops, hold on, where it? What am I looking at here? Edge-on alignment, razor, boomerang. I'm missing a lot of cards. Oh, sorry, we did. Okay, I'm just completely confused here. Don't worry. Okay, I'm back on track. Cut the tethers. We did Apocalypse Chime. Okay, next up, we're doing Cut the Tethers, Hedron Alignment, and Scornful Egotist. Hold on. Okay, I'm willing to do one more out of all these. Does anyone have one more? Okay, hold on. Okay, give me a suggestion for one more, because there's actually I'm missing. We need these to be divisible by what's it called? 4. So I'll take a card that we did not do. Beampot, Vibrating Sphere. Is that an actual card? It sounds so weird. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control get +2/+0. As long as it's not your turn, creatures you control get -0, -2 for 4 mana. This sucks, to be honest, but I don't think it's that great. I don't think it's bad enough for this show. Blank, you don't get it again. Oh, Snowfall. I like that one. Snowfall from Not the Zilla. All right, that is definitely going to be on here. And the reason we're going to put it on here, because it's for a blue 2 generic, commutative upkeep blue. Islands may produce an additional blue when tapped for mana, but the mana is only usable for commutative upkeep. And snow-covered islands may produce either an additional blue or an additional blue when tapping mana. But again, the mana is usable only for commutative upkeep. It's terrible. so narrow for all those other crappy cumulative upkeep cards. So we're voting on Snowfall, Cut the Tethers, which is a blue 2 generic sorcery. For each spirit, return it to its owner's hand unless that player plays 3. Hedron Alignment, the 3-mana hexproof enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal your hand. If you do, you win the game. If you own a card named Hedron Alignment in exile, in your hand, or in your graveyard, and on the battlefield. At the very least, this card actually can spend 2 mana to scry 1. And then, of course, we have Scornful Egotist, the 8-mana 1/1 creature. 8-mana 1/1, but it can be played as a 2/2 for 3 mana. Arguably one of the strongest cards shown today. One of the strongest. I'm Hedron Alignment's strongest soldier. Oh, yeah. David? Okay, what do we got here? Oh, wow. Snowfall out front was not even a candidate. Was a last-second choice by its party. And Snowfall now coming out swinging big time. Just crushing the competition here. Snowfall absolutely way out in front. And after 1 minute is a sole winner. Not even close. All right, we got Snowfall. Congratulations to Snowfall. Okay, next. This is not the last poll, actually. Oh, no, it is the last poll. This is going to determine our Power 9, actually. And we're going to end off with a perfect 9 cards. Unless anyone has anything to say about it. Okay, what is negative Power 9? Razor Boomerang. Prism Array. One with Nothing. And Dark Steel Relic. Just a reminder. Razor Boomerang, the equipment for 3 mana. Tap unattached Razor Boomerang, deals 1 damage to target creature or player, and then you gotta bounce it back to your hand, and also you have to pay 2 mana just to equip the thing. Prism Array, 5 mana. Converge, enters the battlefield with a crystal on it for each color mana. You remove crystal counters to tap creatures, and you can spend Wooburg to scry 3. One with Nothing! Instant speed, discard your hand. That's it, you have no more hand left. And then Dark Steel Relic, it's indestructible, and it costs nothing. It does nothing and does nothing. It's basically a cousin to the Null Rod. It doesn't do anything! Correction, it does nothing. Does absolutely nothing. Razor Boomerang out in front, big time. Working so hard for that 1 damage. Darksteel Relic is great within Soul Artifact. It is, if you want to go that far. I don't know who is voting for the Relic. Somebody. There's more people voting for Darksteel Relic than Prism Array. And after 1 minute, okay, Razor Boomerang wins. Wins it out. All right, we have a tentative power, like negative Power 9. Okay, here it is. Now, does anyone want to vote for any of these cards back? Who deserves a second chance? And who do you think doesn't deserve any chance? We got Razor Boomerang, Snowfall, Break Open, Wood Elemental, Apocalypse Chime, Alabaster Leech, Great Wall, Force of Savagery, and Sorrow's Path. Does anyone think anything should... One of the other cards that were voted off deserves another chance? Because sometimes it's close. David is voting for Paliano. Is there any support for Paliano? A Darkar Unicorn needs a second look. Well, that was your choice. I know that. If you donate, you absolutely can add a card. That is almost like the rules. Yeah, if you donate, you will be voted amongst some of these other cards to see if it gets removed. Paliano needs to be on this. Paliano. Okay, we're gonna have a new vote with Paliano, and Corbinic is probably gonna throw something in there. Okay, so Paliano. Paliano is at least useful in draft. Is it though? Is it really even that good in draft? That's like a problem here. Typical Titan. My return once a month for 15 minutes to a Nikachu stream. Welcome, Typical Titan. Okay, vote deeply! Yeah, we can vote deeply as well. Okay, definitely Paliano is going to be going back. Okay, Paliano is going to get another shot. Is Corbinic going to, like, donate or what? Corbinic might be behind on time anyway. Okay, we're gonna give Paliano a chance. We're gonna stick it to... Okay, now it's changing to what is not. Okay, back is curse? What the hell is that? Okay, thank you very much, Corbinick. It is a blue 2 generic sorcery. Backy's curse deals 2 damage to each creature for each creature enchantment on that creature. Deals 2 damage to each creature for each creature enchantment on that creature? What? Deals 2 damage to each creature for each creature. Oh, I see. For each aura. It's just the wording of it back in the day. Okay, we got Backy's curse. How am I gonna do this? Okay, Stefan wants to try to get one on. Okay, here's gonna be a second chance. Okay, Grinning Totem. Do we have one more super chat? Grinning Totem, 4 mana, 2 mana. Sacrifice Grinning Totem. Search target opponent's library for a card and remove it from the game. Then that player shuffles their library. Until the beginning of your next upkeep, you may play that card. At the beginning of your next upkeep, if you haven't played it, put it into its owner's graveyard. Okay, just a random mage wants to try Kaervek's Spite again. Okay, this, and then, Paliano. The High City! Okay, so first we're gonna do... Okay, now this is different. We're gonna start a poll. We have to have 2 more polls after this. So this is gonna be a candidate to maybe squeeze into the negative power 9. So now is... What... Oh yeah, you could say, what is negative... power 9, and we can choose Paliano, and then we can choose Kaervek's Spite, we'll also add Grinning Totem, and then Backy's Curse. Go for it. It's a tough one, but I love democracy. Just like Palpatine. Grinning Totem was like the chase card of the set for a while. Well, there's a lot of cards back then that were very, very good that we don't really bat an eye at anymore now, do we? Kaervek's Spite can at least kill somebody, but at what cost? I could totally see Kaervek's Spite as being one of these like cards that you have like 2 of in your deck because it's like the or at least 1, right? Because it's the last card that you play before you kill somebody. At least in a one-on-one game. Looks completely terrible in a multiplayer game. I mean, unless you need to get rid of, or I don't know, or unless you're like a manaless deck of some sort. Manaless Dredge. Just sacrifice your artifacts to get things going. Then, of course, we've got Paliano, the land that does nothing out of, absolute nothing out of, what's it called? A draft environment. Literally adds no mana. You put it in your deck, it's a stone cold potato. It's a doorstop, a bump on the log. How is not enough love for Paliano? Oh, Paliano is now coming out front. Maybe people forgot what this card did. Okay, it's tied. I'm gonna end the poll when it breaks. It broke. Paliano wins! If anyone feels completely... Hold on, what's it called? If anyone feels screwed by that, I don't care. Paliano! Okay, now Paliano has to go up against these. What do we think are like the 4 worst cards on this list? Between like Sorrow's Path, Force of Savagery, Great Wall, Alabaster Leech, Apocalypse Chime, Wood Elemental, Break Open, Snowfall, Razor Boomerang. Really hard choice, to be honest. This is like, I mean, these are juggernauts of the worst cards in Magic the Gathering. A win is a loss here. Win is a complete loss. We should have put Hive Mind on the... Hive Mind is a big combo card. No way. You don't think Force of Savagery is on here? All right, Force of Savagery on the chopping block. What else doesn't think? Drop Razor, even if it's that bad. Leech being a 1/3, it's not that bad. We have... Okay, Force of Savagery, definitely on the chopping block. We got some... Paliano, I won, but at what cost? Okay, a little bit support for... What's it called? Alabaster Leech. As not being worthy enough. Okay, we've got a few people chiming up a Wood Elemental. All right! Okay, we're gonna say what is not worthy of being... Okay, this is different. You're now voting off a card that does not belong here. That is not negative power 9. What is not negative power 9? So basically, we're voting off the card we think is the strongest. Paliano. Force of Savagery. Alabaster Leech. This is funny, we do all this work and Paliano still doesn't make it. Imagine Paliano still gets voted off here. Okay, and Wood Elemental. Remember, you're voting off the card that we don't think should be on this list. So, okay, Paliano's here. Then we've got Force of Savagery, which is the 8/0 creature. It dies instantly. We also have Alabaster Leech. The very funny 1 mana, 1/3. So you can play it on 1 mana, but all your white spells are going to cost 1 more for the rest of the game. And then we got the Wood Elemental. The reserved list monstrosity that is like 4 mana star, but you got to sacrifice untapped Force to give it any power in the game. The monotropic guitarist is like, I'm lobbying for Force to be great. Or no, to Force to be gone. Nikachu with the double negatives. I do not understand hardly what he is not, what he isn't saying. From Scott Free. I find that hilarious. Oh no! Force of Savagery gets kicked off. I can't believe it. I thought that was for sure gonna stay on this list. Unbelievable. All right. So Paliano makes it off. Force of Savagery actually fails to stay on. And that's it. That is the negative power 9 of Magic the Gathering. Razor Boomerang. Snowfall. Break open to flip up those face down cards. Wood Elemental. Still terrible. Apocalypse Chime. Raining Hell on Homelands, if anyone even plays those cards. Alabaster Leech, the small 1/3 that taxes the rest of your deck. The Great Wall, to be able to block planeswalk creatures like that 1/1 chicken. Sorrow's Path, that blows up your board. And Paliano, the land that does so much and yet does nothing at the same time. All right, as usual. Thank you so much. Well, by the way, you want to be part of the show, you got to be here weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everybody for all of your support. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or you super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you so much for being here today, because without all of you, I wouldn't have any show today. Now, wouldn't we? Who would be voting on this negative power 9? We need people like Beanpot, Corbinek. We need David. Yeah, thank you, Free. Also, the monotropic guitarist, David Sampson, Toads, Chris Bonehead, Geek Latanya, Ferginka, Steve Cooper, Christopher B, Benjamin, David Howard, Toads. We got Toads, Spartan, Dinglebag, Henrik, because you guys are the show. As usual, my coffee crew. Keep brewing up them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.